few days left still, but...
You guys have got this. We're here to support. I think it's a pretty big wake-up call. I think, we're not out of the woods.
Not at all.
For South Australia as well. And I think that, everyone just be aware, stay safe, look out for each other. And just I think it's important to prepare that it could happen again to us.
It could. And that's why, if you can get vaccinated, go get vaccinated, please.
Totally.
So we don't have to go into a lockdown, because they're saying it's going to be multi-billion dollars lost to the economy in Victoria just 1 week.
Yeah.
And the people who work casual jobs, that's no money for this week.
No. It'll be pretty hard. And I think, it's really important to know it's not the end. It's not the end.
Yeah, I know.
Dun.
Well, yeah, like I said, get vaccinated if you can. I can't wait to get one, to be honest. But as a 26-year-old,
I know, we're the bottom
healthy person, it's all right, well.
Totally. Well, my grandma just got the first jab, so.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Go down.
Grannies.
This is an ABC podcast.
Very, not a really good experience.
Anyway, I just gonna have to change it now, and this is it. I love you. Everything that's debating, because we are going through a hard time partnership with everybody who's working together, bringing up mindfulness, beautiful people, thinking of how jobs, my job, where do I work, how do I work, helping the community, mental health, the government giving in jobs for workers are helping the community get up and lift, like military, get up and lift, and don't be shy, cat got your tongue. People are here, people are there, beautiful. Please get more workers, have the sectors with more mental health issues, hormone drugs issues, homeless issues, coronavirus. Thank you. Love you. Opinion. More record, family, sexy, sport. Love you. Everything going together. Thank you. My show. Because NDIS.
On how the NDIS actually works at the moment, we called in Naz Campanella. She's the ABC's Disability Affairs reporter.
Okay, so let's start by just explaining, if you can, for us, Naz, the way under the NDIS at the moment funding is determined.
So at the moment, people basically gather all the different medical reports and letters from their various doctors and specialists, and they submit those, and that essentially is a form of assessment for determining whether someone is eligible or not to be in the scheme, or whether their funding is continued and what level of funding and supports they continue to receive within the scheme if they're already a participant.
Right, so it's an expert assessment, basically, of what sorts of supports a person might need.
Yeah, so you'll get the various specialist reports and letters from your doctors who you have been working with probably for almost your entire life in some cases. So you might have your whole team that submits something that talks about a few things: your diagnosis, the supports you need, what impact your disability has on you day to day. And that's, in a sense, how things are determined at the moment. Now, there's been some criticism around the fact that some people are spending tens of thousands of dollars on these reports and gathering all this information and material, and independent assessments have been proposed or discussed as a way of breaking that down and ensuring that the scheme is fair and equitable for everyone, so that people aren't going around and spending these thousands of dollars to gather all this information.
We've got some exciting tourism and travel announcements today, of course, but also welcoming Stuart here today to talk about some important work that's being undertaken in the NDIS space. Stuart.
Yeah, thanks, Bridge. I'll just couple past you. It is great to be in Launceston.
So the Minister, Stuart Robert, was touring Tasmania a couple of weeks ago. He was visiting an NDIS provider there, and he spoke about this topic at length. He pointed out, for example, that an NDIS participant with a plan, say in Hobart, their average plan would be worth around $105,000. Now, that's in comparison to someone, say, in Launceston, whose plan might be worth...
Okay, I gotta say something. I'm suspicious about something, okay? I'm not saying I'm clever or anything, but I'm suspicious about something. Like, what's this one about? And
I'm Graham West of NDS's Safer and Stronger project. With all that is going on in the
So-
world, and in particular within Australia,
Is right and giving them everything that they want. And of
Okay, I'm going to stop it. Now, this person here is going to talk about, it says NDIS on it. I don't know if it's the service or the, whatever, listening and reply. Listening carefully, and reply. Carefully, and reply. Opinion because. This is secretly listening carefully and reply. Listening carefully and reply. Opinion, question, do your best, ask question, because more, listening, reply. Don't let the cat take your tongue all mixed up, mash up. Thank you, love you. Section, you know it.
all of your community at every step. So that means that you need to consider who your various client groups are, maybe developing a client ecosystem to understand those, and then deeply understanding what their goals and motivations are.
Yes, you've got to understand how you want it, how you love it, how you understand it. Feel safe with the worker, feel not safe with it. How is it your plan? How is it you want it? How is it more. Get out there. Workers are coming. They more. Be creative. More. Be sport. Talk to the door. Say goodbye to the door. Love you. More. Questioning debate. And the mix is increasing. I'm shy. What are they saying? Debate because. Oh my God.
So that you can structure your engagement with them accordingly. And this needs to sit across all elements of business. It's not just the immediate touch points that you might think of. We look at how you promote your
and things like where you at, who's this person, who's the CEO, who's the owner, who's the chief, who's the boss, who's working, how's it working, how whack, everything workers. We need more workers. Do your job. Thank you, mindfulness, love you, workers, NDIS, they're mixing it up, debate, opinion, question, reply. What is NDIS? What is it? And what your plans, your mind, everything work, mix, love, and the community of Illawarra, Wollongong, New South Wales, Australia, mental health issues, workers, we need more free food, homeless, help, mind, mental health issues, everything issues, and mixed up. Please listen in and reply carefully, please.
business, what's the brand trust that you have out in the market, through to your contact and engagement processes, maybe the services that you offer and your delivery approach to those, the systems and technology used, the fees you charge, recruitment and people processes, and most importantly, how you communicate with your clients and community, and how you invite and use client feedback and input. So that's kind of that second piece. So the third building block that we look at is the CX structure. And this is about ensuring that everyone in the organisation realises that they have a part to play when it comes to client experience. You know, it doesn't matter if they are frontline or they're in the accounts payable department and they never see a client. Everyone has a responsibility when it comes to how clients experience your organisation. The CX structure is also about having the right processes in place to ensure that the voice of the client is heard and that it's heard in the right places and it's actioned accordingly.
Also with the workers you're working with how you're working it with, how did you get NDIS? Did you pass a test from the doctors and everything? Did you pass everything? Who's the worker? Where's the worker? The facts of the worker. How is the worker from? Did the worker get certificate from university? Did they go to mental health universities, mental health, all mental health issues, this issue, the workers, very nice, thank you, good workers, mental health issues, social workers, because debate, all question, please reply, thank you, I love you.
Here we look at the appropriate CX governance.
Mixed question, opinions, please, all mixed up, love you.
Sort of model for your organisation, so that everyone from client interfaces right up to the board understands the what, the when, the how of client experience and what that means for your particular business. The fourth and probably the most important element of the building blocks for CX strategy is a CX mindset or CX culture. And I guess if you do nothing else except develop a client-centric culture for your organisation, it is certainly the most powerful thing you can do to improve the experience for your clients. It's certainly the old adage of culture eats strategy for lunch, it's that saying. But in the world of client experience, and especially in organisations whose very existence, like disability service providers, is to provide care and support and encouragement and empowerment and a safe space, you know, the mandate to put your clients' needs front and centre is a pretty obvious one. So to bring this to life, it means that client experience must be led from the top and enabled at all levels of the organisation. The organisational values must really strongly support a CX mindset, and then a set of really clearly defined behaviours must underpin those values. Those values and behaviours are then championed consistently and supported by your leaders and all staff throughout the organisation. They should be used as recruitment tools, as performance tools, you know, embedded in KPIs, used in performance reviews, and also in just the day-to-day operations of business. You know, in team meetings, they can start saying, are we working to our values and to our client experience charter? When we're looking at what that mindset, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more because it is just so important, when we're looking at what that client experience mindset looks like and how it shows up in an organisation, you know, it's a culture that really values and looks after staff. You know, obviously, if your staff aren't on board, it's pretty unlikely that they're going to be able to deliver a great experience for your clients. It's also a culture that promotes the sharing and exchange of ideas at all levels of the organisation. And it's a culture that learns from failure and doesn't shy away from mistakes. You know, it accepts that mistakes do happen because they do, but you're having the appropriate systems and processes in place to manage those mistakes that happen in a really transparent and supportive and continuous improvement type manner. And that ultimately creates a really safe space for clients and for staff. And it's one where they will speak up because they're confident that they'll be heard and valued in what they have to say. So they're the four key pillars that we focus on: the guiding principles, the client-centric operating model, the client experience structure, and the client experience mindset. They're the key things that I would be promoting that organisations are focusing on at this time.
What can disability providers do if they're interested in exploring or developing their client experience capability further, Amy? And particularly, like, where's a good place to start?
So, understanding where you're at currently and where you want to get to is absolutely the first step. And at Mesh, I guess this is our bread and butter, and we partner with organisations to achieve this. In the past, we've used client experience audit frameworks with our CX Discover program as a first step to understanding where service providers are at. So we've looked at client experience strengths and weaknesses and helped organisations pinpoint where to start their CX transition or the client experience transition. I think maybe the complexity of that program and perhaps even the cost has been prohibitive for some providers. So we have listened. We've listened to the market and listened to our clients and have adapted that program. We've also taken into consideration the stuff that's coming out of the Royal Commission and really focused in on those four elements that I mentioned earlier as the critical parts that are required. So we've got a new program called CX Essentials, and CX Essentials is designed to help you identify the building blocks for delivering a great client experience. So the program will assess where your organisation is at across those four pillars that we spoke about before. So the guiding principles or CX vision, the client-centric operating model, the CX structure, and the mindset and culture. There's really no underestimating the complexity of the times that we're in, Graham. Providers are keeping their clients and people and safe through COVID, and we're certainly in a more competitive marketplace than we ever have been before. And we're all going to be learning and considering the insights that are coming out of the Royal Commission as they continue to evolve. In addition to that, we're seeing burnout from leaders and from staff as well. So there's huge challenges, but I guess they also present an opportunity to reconsider how we do things with clients at the centre of what we do. And that in turn can actually take some pressure off our services and operations by taking direction from clients. Tell us what you want, tell us what you need. And it stops all of that guessing game. And that's where, we at Mesh feel that we can certainly help. I think that's probably all I have to say today, Graham. And, as you can see, I can wax lyrical about this stuff for a hell of a lot of time. So love to have a chat about customer experience, but I really appreciate the opportunity to share a bit of what we do at Mesh with you today.
And thank you, Amy, for taking the time to talk to us about customer experience. And if you'd like to learn more about what Amy has been talking about and the programs mentioned, you can contact Amy anytime through the Mesh website, makeitmesh.com.au, or email Amy direct, amy@makeitmesh.com.au. For resources around governance and operations in the NDIS environment, you can always visit the NDS website at nds.org.au. Thanks for listening today.
It cut out there. Okay. What was I meant to say? I always do this, hey. Anyway, NDIS, the NDIS is being introduced progressive across the state and territory. Disability, the NDIS provides support to the eligible people with intellectual, physical, sensory, cognitive, and physical social disability. Early intervention support can also be provided for the eligible people with disability or children with development delay. Insurance, the NDIS gives all Australians peace of mind if the child or level 1 born with acquired permanent and significant disability, they will get the support they need. The scheme NDIS is not a welfare system. The NDIS is designed to help people with support and the need of the skills and independent approve over time. So you must provide for the client to what they got the NDIS from applying from the doctors, and that's so they had disability or something to do with pension or disability support pension, and you fill out the forms if you were available to enter the NDIS. So you go to ndis.com.au website, ndis.com.au website to see if you are available, what you're doing, where you at, because you're the client and you're paying for it and you're doing all these things and you made it and you now got NDIS, and because you apply and you did the paperwork and you got welfare workers, you got workers, and all the workers, you've been very nice and you're going forward in future and people are helping you out on all these things. If you know what I mean, they're all helping you out. Like the permanent of this significant disability. A permanent disability means your disability is likely to be lifelong. Significant disability has substantial impact of your ability to complete everyday activities. Is it? Okay. Okay, wait up. Let me do something. Oh, no, it's not working, is it? All right, anyway. Well, it's got to do with complex of the mind and along with mental health issues and everything. So we can't just be on our own now. We're going to get help on NDIS, which are giving us programs after program to go to see these buildings who are supporting us on NDIS, and where we at with NDIS. if you know what I mean. Yeah, so it's all good, so good. Yeah. So NDIS and everything like that. Because we got our own anxiety disorder, including panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and phobias, depression, bipolar disorder, and other mood disorder, eating disorder, personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, psychotic disorder, including schizophrenia. Okay, so all that is for the program of NDIS, who will help us grow only if we have all these buildings where we can go and do our tasks and things to do for our NDIS program. And if we can be taken out, picnics and other areas, so we don't be inside, be more sporty, creative, be champion of champion of champion of champion with different buildings, different workers, university students, social workers, health workers, medical workers, mental disorder workers, welfare workers, all working in different buildings, helping you to have this NDIS program that is available for people with disability who went to the doctors and fill out the form because, okay? It's going to be taken to court. Everything's going to be taken to court, and everything's going with the commissioner. The lady was saying there's drug and supplement, tools, things. What else can we do? What else can we say? I don't know. It says that, I don't know, I don't know what to say now. All I know is 1-800, it says a number here, look, 1-800 800-110 NDIS, 1-800-800-1110 NDIS number. And then on the top it says ndis.gov.au, and it's got all this writing. You can press buttons after buttons. It's got assistance after assistance, people and people, all right. It's very, very nice, doing exercise, doing things, getting out and supporting your issues with different organization, getting your program going, everything good. Whatever you missed out, or and a question, there's more. They're taking it to court. Everything's going together. Everything. NDIS program, NDIS. I don't know what can I say, but NDIS is NDIS can be in a market, produce support, and you pay them extra money when you're NDIS money, and you know what I mean? Your NDIS could be anything you like with your NDIS program. Okay, support workers, any other workers, people who are open-handed and build. We got to go out and explore and find out all these buildings and places. When I see a lot of medical staff and social workers, police, all working together, make it better. Government, wake up. Government, wake up. Government, wake up. Wake up. We're taking this to court. I'm turning that off. Okay. Okay, goodbye. Booga. Okay, debate. Government, wake up. Government, wake up. NDIS program. Government, wake up. Because opinion, love you. Family, NDIS program, Australia disability program. What was the scheme about? Was it a scheme or something? No, it was just NDIS provides support and legal people with intellectual and physical sense, insurance scheme, national performance. Who's rolling out the NDIS? The NDIS Disability Insurance Agency, early local coordinator, places your program can be insured, places where the client can provide help for the program, So yes, so once you got NDIS, go out in the community where you can spend that NDIS amount that your program is supposed to be, your program NDIS rollout. Thank you, love you, goodbye, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
I don't really know how fast 5 miles per hour is, but I imagine if I'm running away from a robot, at some point I'm going to get tired, but the robot's going to keep going, and that's not bode well for me. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking even just about the dimensions of it. Like 5'8" is, I think, a fairly average height, but you know, for me, for example, I'm like 5'4", so that's like a whole 4 inches taller on me. So it's really one of those things I think we see a lot when we are in the sort of, I don't know, engineering products space, that a lot of this stuff is relative to who you are, you know, man or woman, or just physical build, or, you know, anything else. So yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see how that plays out.
It did feel like, because I'm not 5'8", so this robot would be taller than me as well. It feels like this robot was designed so that someone like Elon Musk could either outrun or overpower, because he's a bigger dude. I'm assuming he could probably take one of these robots. But yeah, it just, you know, you watch every sci-fi movie like iRobot, right? These robots aren't supposed to hurt humans or be a threat to humans, and like, of course they end up being that. And so it's just,
dude, subscribe. Do like, subscribe down the bottom. Leave your comment. Subscribe. Do like, subscribe. Do like, subscribe. Do like, subscribe. Do like, subscribe. Soy chileno. Where am I? Era sex facts. Jump on me and punch me. I love you. Come subscribe. I was on YouTube, Facebook.
it's hard to get my mind wrapped around this, but did he give a sense of when, you know, we'd actually get to see something as opposed to, you know, a person in a spandex suit?
He said that, you know, he's thinking that the prototype could be around like next year, actually, which is kind of seems soon.
Yeah, definitely. And I know this announcement stole all the headlines, but it was one part of his Tesla AI day. I'm curious what else we got from the day, what other AI discussions he delved into.
Right. So aside from Tesla Bot, you know, the bulk of the day was really kind of dedicated to how Tesla's AI engineers are working on the comfort and the safety and whatnot of the full self-driving system. And so a lot of it was just kind of digging into how that works. There was a demonstration of the company's of that system, you know, and kind of showing like how it navigates a route in suburban roads, and just just kind of like digging deeper into how that system is aware of its environment and acts.
Yeah, no, at one point in the presentation, he kind of referred to those cars as semi-autonomous, you know, they're almost their own robots, but on wheels. So very interesting stuff. We'll see what happens with this. Aaron, thank you for your time. Check out our story at cnet.com. If you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter at The Daily Charge, or sign up for direct text messages from...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by...
Well, I think I'll throw that question back to you, because I think you have a bit more of an insight into it.
Well, I mean, personally, I think that, and I'm curious if you agree with this, is I don't think that, speaking of Disney being the bad guy, I don't think they're going to want to go to court and have, like, a well-loved, Oscar-nominated actress who's helped make billions of dollars at the box office of them talking about how they really, like, bilked her out of millions of dollars. Like, that's the only sort of dynamic that's a little bit hard to see how it plays out among fans. It's like, I mean, it's like she's going to court to say, you owe me $50 million more, but one of the things that Disney tried to do in its first response is say, like, hey, she's already made $20 million on this. So, like,
it's a little bit of like, how hard, like how bad do you feel for the person who made $20 million for this film? Really? But I don't think anybody's going to, I don't think Disney even wants to get that point. Do you think so?
No, absolutely. I feel like this will be settled and we'll kind of hear no more about it. But yes, like when these sums of money are involved, like I see the sum, like $50 million, that's kind of, to the average person, to me, that is like an inconceivable amount of money. It's like, oh yeah, I don't really even understand. But there's also like this narrative of a company saying like, oh, you should be happy with what you've got. It doesn't really play well. Like, but because it's such a huge amount of money, I guess I'd be happy with $20 million.
Well, Scarlett Johansson is apparently not happy with $20 million, or more so, and I think what it like kind of boils down to is it comes down to the fact that not only Scarlett Johansson, she's not alone in this reaction. All of Hollywood, actors, actresses, directors, producers, they're all upset about how movies are being released in the sense that they're, you know, previously the idea of having an exclusive theatrical release, that was sacrosanct, and nobody thought that it was going to go away anytime soon until it suddenly was gone, and now everything's like off the table. And so when your pay is tied to a model that doesn't exist anymore, a lot of people are upset, and we've seen different companies sort of deal with that. It's not a new thing for people to say, hey, I was supposed to be paid this much because we assumed that this is the way things would go. But what do you think about the argument that it's like, well, heck, I mean, no movie is making as much money as it used to. Like Scarlett Johansson is saying, if I had had a full theatrical release, she's arguing that she's been, you know, she's missing out on about $50 million. But that's sort of assuming that Black Widow had any possibility of living up to like a Captain Marvel sort of performance. And it doesn't, do you think that that's really even a fair benchmark to have?
Not anymore. I do think that things have changed. And they were changing gradually, and the pandemic has...
Okay, I'm going to cut it saying that it's Australia, Hyper, Psychosecurity, SOS, ABM, Australia, helping to mix it with selling phones, G5, other lawsuits, Facebook, government, Australia, oh yeah, don't get your niggas on or not, oh yeah, listen and reply, yeah, okay, Australia. Whoa. Is that how you spell kangaroo? K-A-N? Australia.
This is an ABC podcast. Hello.
This is just published in one of the Lancet journals, and it looks at this huge database they got in the United Kingdom, which is fantastic, where people report.
Sword and the youth and the four-wheel drive, and it's more the kind of helping out.
Their symptoms and issues with COVID-19, and it includes children, and they can correlate that with test results and so on. And what they've done is for school-age children, they've looked at how long the symptoms last. And the bottom line here is that I think the longest they went was a couple of months, but it's really very, very unusual for a child.
Don't they mix it like at the end of it, or they mix it a bit, don't they? Is that how you spell kangaroo?
67% effectiveness for AstraZeneca 2 doses with the Delta variant of preventing any symptomatic infection. And with the Pfizer vaccine, it's over 80%. So there's that difference there, which can get up towards 20% difference. That's true. For severe disease, though, hospitalization, ICU, and death, there really isn't very much difference between the two vaccines. it's above 80%. Just as it becomes more serious, the protection gets higher, which is really good news. So it's starting at the mid 80%, and going up to well over 90%.
And Daniel's got a piece of feedback from us based on the question that we answered yesterday, which was someone asking why is it called a donut day. Daniel says he's never felt remotely qualified to contribute anything epidemiological to this content, but when it comes to donuts, I'm your man, being from Victoria. Daniel wants to explain to us that donut days aren't merely because there's nothing inside a donut, but because the circle, whether hollow or filled, resembles a circular zero shape.
Thanks, Daniel. I'm now fully informed on donuts.
We should get Daniel on as a special guest, I think, to explain this further.
Well, we should. And the comforting thing about this is that really what surrounds the nothing in the middle is delicious.
That's
so
right.
It makes sense to have a holistic view of the donut.
Very, very sweet indeed. Well, that's all we've got time for this week on CoronaCast, but we'll be back on Monday. In the meantime, drop us a line at abc.net.au/CoronaCast.
So we'll see you Monday.
See you then.
Oh, is this what they talk about? Oh, right. They're going to come to my house and they're going to say, oh, yeah, look at this idiot. Oh, wow, watch it. Don't drop anything. Oh, relax, please. Opinions, plenty of opinions for everybody. Sexy, get your knickers on and not licking it out. I love you.